Okay. Brains. YouTube. Okay. We're going to wait a few minutes. All right. Hey, I'm going to be streaming, but if you want to stay on the phone, you can. Alright? And then I'll talk to you after, but I'll only stay on the phone with you at least, alright? Alright, welcome back, Weather Kingdom. How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Alright, we are going to be waiting it here onto the stream. Welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome. Alright, I hope everyone's night's going well. We're going to be doing that. Welcome, welcome. We already got 3 people. If you are here, please say here in the chat below. That will be awesome for me to know. If everybody, we are going to be talking about the coldest potentially December in years. It's really looking cold, you guys. Snow is moving south. We could have a sneaky southern snowstorm type system to impact parts of the Virginia, West Virginia, and even North Carolina and Tennessee. I do believe that will be a potential snow swath tomorrow. And that's not far from it. We got many more snow chances ahead and many more cold shots. And then could we be talking about another stratosphere warming event? It is looking possible, you guys. All right. We do have a special guest here. If you are available, please welcome in the chat. Describe what you do and talk to the chat for a second, if you could.
So hey, they can hear me, right? You can.
Yeah, they can. You're good.
Hey, all. I am Brian.
He is a meteorology that is in college. He has been helping out with the channel the last couple days. I am going to be pushing him out more into the channel, and I think this is going to be a good combo for the future streams in the next coming weeks or so. He does his own snow maps. Hey everyone, I am Brian. Yep, thank you for talking. Actually, I'm going to make you a moderator. Alright, so how is everybody doing? Please comment down below in the chat. Also, like the stream if you are new to the channel. We are going to be talking about this very cold December, you guys. It is looking extremely cold. We have actually been talking and making some of our maps and our suggestion what's going to happen in the future. Alright. So, I know you have that. I'm going to get a few things set up here. WPC here. We're going to be looking at the WPC temperatures. I think it's a very good way to start it out. Weather Prediction Center. 37 days. WPC temperatures. Alright. I know you do want to talk a little bit. How is everybody doing? Let's go to the 8 to 14 days out. 8 to 14. 8 to 14. I just got out of work, you guys, so I'm pretty tired here, but we are going to continue the stream. So, I have this popped up here. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. We are going to be trying, we're once again trying to get to 1,300 subscribers. And things are looking a bit interesting, you guys, going into the future here. I think we have a very likely snow event to happen here. So one thing we notice is in the 8 to 14 days, this is up to about December 11th, you guys. And what we kind of see here, I'm actually going to bring this out in the view here. What is going on at this point? Would you like to talk a little bit after me about some what we are seeing in the 8 to 14 days?
Yes, I can do that. Yeah.
All right. So my see on this is in the next 18, 14 days, we are going to have very below average temperatures. And this is up to December 11th. Basically, they want ridging out in the west here. This is going to be pumping in a very warm air mass from the south and kind of pumping it all into California and Oregon and up here in the west. This is also going to be going backwards into potentially parts of South Dakota here. This is part of the southeast, even down to Florida, is very likely of seeing some of this higher temperatures. All right. But on the colder side of this, we can kind of see where our jet stream is going to be. We're going to be having an active pattern. It's not going to be hyperactive, but it's going to be pretty interesting where we are going to see, let me go into here. Let me quickly go into here. Where we're going to be seeing a lot of Alberta clippers kind of moving into the south here and bring a swath of 1 to 3 to 3 to 6 inches of snow in the next coming weeks. And I am projecting that to be from the Dakotas into potentially the Great Lakes, Pennsylvania, Ohio, parts of the Mid-Atlantic. Could this be a little further north into New York and areas like that? Yes. As of right now, we are going to be talking about a snow potential for tomorrow if we're in the South Dakota regions here. Would you like to talk a little bit on what's your thinking on this?
Okay, so the 8 to 14 day guys, there's a lot of agreement that there will be. Let me get this rolling out. So there's a whole lot of agreement, guys, on the snow potential for for this week. Of course, for the Dakotas, Montana, those areas. This would probably be the area I'm going to keep an eye on here across this area right here. So what he has drawn out there, that is the area we're going to be keeping an eye on for the Clipper systems. The Clipper systems that are coming through very cold air mass. Tomorrow, I'm keeping an eye on Iowa for tomorrow for hazardous temperatures because they could see temperatures of negative 20 as actual temperatures, and they could also see feels like temperature of minus 45 is what I've seen from a couple of short range guidance I trust. So the model guidance has been consistent at showing negative 30 degrees, those areas there. Feels like temperatures, and I can't rule out a few portions of Iowa getting into the negative 40s, maybe even negative 50. Feels like temperatures there in Iowa, so and into Montana and the whole area he aligned there. Won't be shocked if we get a minus 50 degree. Feels like wind chill reading across either Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, or North Dakota in that area. So the 8 to 14 day guys is going to be. It's going to be like I think it's going to be a northeastern. An eastern U.S. loaded cold snap, while the central and western thirds of the country starts to modify a little bit. Do we know how warm it's going to be? No, but what we can say is that we're going to have cold fronts interfere with this warm air, and there could be there could be a lot of more snowstorms, and those snowstorms could go a little bit further south than what we expected. So. And then you can see the hints here where he's marking those low pressures in the circles there. The Northeast, I mean, yes, you haven't had a big snowstorm yet, but I think it's coming. It's really coming.
I mean,
because
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but there is a little bit of interesting when we take a look at the snowfall totals with weather.gov. Just give me a few minutes here. You could keep talking. I'm just looking
Okay,
at
so
some things.
yeah, so the snowpack that we have in place currently is not keeping that cold air, but is having that cold air riding along the northern tier of the country and into the eastern half. So, and what I think is that, you know, those little clippers that come through, I really expect those clippers to ride along that high pressure system and these little bitty cold fronts that come in. I mean, I can't rule out. I mean, this would probably be the area I'm going to be keeping an eye on for the area of snowfall. And yes, there's a little a little bit of a snow event across the southern United States tonight into tomorrow as well. So, I mean, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that because the short range models are really hinting at a mid Atlantic snowstorm tomorrow. It's not gonna be a big one, but if this thing overperforms than what the models are showing right now, uh, then yes, I think there could be a big snowstorm tomorrow, depending on if model guidance, continues to show less and less snowfall. But we'll see. If this thing overperforms tomorrow's systems, then yeah, I see. The northeastern United States getting a big snow. If it forms a coastal low off the coast of the East Coast, so we'll see about that. So.
All right. Thank you for that. I'm going to take it over in a second here for a second. So, this is the latest NAM model, everybody. It is the 0Z. It does show a clipper system, okay, that came from the Rockies. When we go back into the Midwest, let's go actually to the south here, parts of the south here. We are going to get a little bit of moisture from the Gulf, and we're going to get a southern slider into and from the Northeast. This could bring some snow back in Arkansas here. This could be bringing some snow in the Tennessee, some wintry mixed weather. It's not going to be too much, maybe a coating across the Tennessee. But once you get into northern Tennessee here, it is showing quite a bit of potential snow. Even back into Kentucky here, even into West Virginia, we could definitely be seeing a little stripe of snow here with some rain. This does strengthen a little bit according to the NAM, and it does bring a good swath of snow, at least 1 to 3 to even 2 to 4 inches. I'm not going to be surprised out here. I do think back into West Virginia, this is going to be a mid-Atlantic, even northern North Carolina, back in Maryland, Delaware, potentially. Some of these areas could definitely see a little bit of a snow event. This does get up to almost southern New Jersey, southern Pennsylvania with some flurries. But this is pretty interesting. This does have a little bit of a wintry mix, freezing rain. But this is a southern slider that's going to be bringing in quite a bit of snow. And this does go and then exits out. And then we see a little bit of another cold front that goes through the Great Lakes. And this is going to drop another few inches across the Northeast. And this is with the latest NAM model. When we take a look at the Courage snowfall, would you like to describe to the audience the difference between 10-1 ratios versus the Courage? What's the differences that our audience knows when I mean the two different snow maps?
Okay, so your 10-1 ratio, it's saying what is your 10-1 ratio technically is saying? It's that you've got a layer of you've got 1 inch of liquid, and that 1 inch of liquid will actually equal about an inch of snow. So every half inch of liquid there, the half an inch of liquid there of water, rainwater, but you can equal that as the Contura model there. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is that 1 inch of liquid will equal the amount of snow that you get but it's going to come down to how much warm air you get. So, like, with the warm air coming into that cold air, you've got a couple inches. Let's say you get 5 inches of snow, and that 5 inches of snow is not a heavy wet snow, and it's more of a drier snow. Then you're probably going to get less snowfall than what the Trever model is showing. So the Trever model is just a outcome of the model. It's just an outcome of the snowfall totals. So like the total 10-to-1 ratio can actually be higher than with the Trever model, but sometimes they flip in the different areas. So it depends on what how much snow falls. Like right there, he's highlighting there, like 2.5, 4 inches on the Trever model. But if you go to the 10-to-1 ratio, it may show 4 to 5, maybe 6 inches of snowfall. So it's going to depend on how cold is the air mass and how cold is this, how much warm air is the the ratios actually is. So it's going to come down to how much water liquid it is. Because like if you go to the Pacific Northwest, you see like it's showing Seattle's going to get 11 inches of rain. It's not, and the mountains are getting like 20 inches of rainfall. It's buying into that the water liquid. It's not counting in the snowfall that's already there. So that's why.
I mean, I agree. I think that's a really good understanding with it. I would say with the dam, it's general 1 to 3 inches, to be honest with you guys. I don't think this is going to be a crazy system, but I think swapping 1 to 3 locally, you could see maybe 4 inches. I don't really see 5. The reasons is farther to the south, it's been it's getting colder, but the grounds are not frozen yet. And with this type of system, I think you can get a good 3 inches out of this where it's been running a little bit colder, especially across the mountains. But if you're in the valleys, I do expect a little bit less, a little bit more of that wintry mix playing out. Because, look, the temperature is going to be there. Okay, I think the temperatures are... Okay. I think the temperatures, the further south you go, you guys... You're going to be talking about more about that freezing line. But where the snow is going to fall in northern, it's going to be about 30 to 32 degrees. Further north you go, I do believe it's going to be a little bit more of a closer to 10 and 8 ratio in that department. We're going to look at the HER model. Also, we're going to take a look at some of the models. If you guys are in these regions, please stay tuned. When we take a look at the mixed 2 point, let's take a look at the HER model here of 0Z. Just taking a look at the general thing of this. It is a little bit more aggressive, and that is actually very interesting. It does show it starting out a little bit quicker. You get that strip into Tennessee a little bit more heavier and a little bit more quicker. The storm organizes just a little bit, and you can, let me get a little bit more into here. You can see some heavier snowfalls and a wintry mix across the Tennessee, especially in the higher elevations. I do think it's going to be a little bit better. North Carolina in the higher elevations, but the herd likes it a little bit further to the north. It is a little bit interesting that we are seeing that difference, and it actually gets it into southern Pennsylvania with even some flurries reaching near Allentown. It is a little bit more on the northern side, but you still get your swath of pretty good snowfall across northern North Carolina, all through West Virginia, even parts of Washington, D.C., back in the Kentucky even, and I think the HER is definitely going to show a little bit more of a heavier snow event, and it does. All right, this is the Creech. All right, take this with a grain of salt. Someone did ask, Mark, here in Chicago, Burbs, we got 8.5 inches of snow on Saturday. I'm hearing maybe some clippers moving in the area next week. Yes. We will be talking about that.
We will go over those clippers here in a little bit.
All right, we'll be talking about that. But on the her model in the mountain regions does want to say maybe a 3 to 5, locally 6 inches across some of the higher elevations of West Virginia. North Carolina and Tennessee mountains, not too much. Maybe a coating to 1 or 2 inches. I think it's gonna be. I think the her has a good idea. You get a coating maybe even near New Jersey, parts of Philly, a half an inch of snow, a dusting. I'm not completely ruling that out. When we take a look at the 18Z, it was a little bit further south, so it is a little bit interesting how north it jumped. I'm not saying that's going to be the thing, but I think this is also, I think this will be on the heavier side of the event. The temperatures are a bit, yeah, about the same. Northern, North Carolina into West Virginia, this is a good swath in the upper 20s to lower 30s the further south you go. But the low does deepen a little bit quicker and move out a little bit slower. We will have to wait and see. All right. And when we take a look at the latest 0Z coming out, the GFS likes to keep it a little bit more here, a swath of snow in the southern regions. And this kind of tries to form off the East Coast, bringing some coastal snow flurries and stuff. I'm not really buying that. But the GFS does have a swath here in the northern Carolinas, West Virginia, of a swath of 2 to 4 inches. I think a 2 to 4 inch event is possible on the heavier side, maybe even 5 inches. We're going to have to wait and see, all right? It's not a guarantee that this is going to happen as heavy as possible. But I do think a little good snow event for the Mid-Atlantic is going to play out. We're going to have to continue to see that. The latest Euro with the snowfall is a little bit interesting. Let's go into precipitation. Let's go into... Okay, so it has it here going through the same regions. Total snowfall is a lot, more or less, and a little bit smaller. In the higher elevations, maybe 3-4 inches. I think someone will see 2 to 4. Mostly a 1 to 2, 3-inch event. I don't see too much more out of it. It will surprise me if we do. Some of the models are going a little bit more aggressive. Some are not. But we are going to have to wait and see, you guys. It's not a guarantee of... I think we will see snow, but it's not a guarantee you're going to see 4 or 5 inches of snow. When we take a look at the overall pattern here, we're going to start talking a little bit about the overall pattern, because I think this is a interesting subject here, all right, with the European 18Z. We're going to look at the 18Z and then the 12Z. We do see that clipper system that goes through, a southern slider. It could have been a bigger snowstorm, but it's not fully there with a negative tilted trough. You got another clipper system to the north. This will kind of roll in. You try and cook up another little southern slider with a nor'easter, but that one's just too far out. Too much cold air keeping it blocked. But you do see a good clipper system around the 8th of December here. Goes through the Great Lakes, even near the Chicago region, like I was just talking about that. You can see 1,000 millibar low. You got the pattern going into the next at least 6 days. You have a solid cold shot where you're just going to be seeing low after low and snow shots going through the northern tier of the United States here. And then you can kind of see that continue to go through the Great Lakes and strengthen quite a bit with some gusty winds. Probably a good amount of snow, at least a 1 to 3 inch, a good cover of snow with the European. And you could kind of see that here. Let's go into, it doesn't have that. Let's go into the Great Lakes regions. Let's go into the Dakotas. You can kind of see where it starts here. And I want to make sure I'm hitting this right. Okay. You can see that. Is that the right thing here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair.
in North Dakota, maybe take this with a grain of salt, but it does show a swath of 3 to 6 inches. Locally, a little bit higher. I don't know how. This is the 18Z, though, you guys. Take it with a grain of salt. But it does go into the Great Lakes and bring a good swath of at least 2 to 4 inches through the Great Lakes. It doesn't go out for the Northeast yet, but you can also see some lake effect snow continuing for the next couple days. I think that's going to be a very big possibility. We also have the 12Z here. If you want to look in a little bit farther, it does show that swath of snow a little bit weaker here on the 12Z. And it does go through the Northeast, maybe with a coating to an inch. Nothing too much around December 9th. Another shot of cold air, more winds, and more cold. And then look at that. We see it even stronger. And this one I'm looking really into because I think this one could be a little bit stronger of a system where it's a 988 millibar clipper, Alberta clipper. And this will be a one to bring like 3 to 6, 4 to 8 inches. This goes right into the Great Lakes regions. I would say a swath of 3 to 6, 4 to 8 inches. Gusty winds. It weakens a little bit, but look at that. You're talking about a good clipper into the Northeast around the 9th to 10th here with the 12Z. Actually, this would be, the 9th will get a clipper, and then the 10th you will see a nighttime clipper system. So cold air will definitely continue to be like that. Chicago, this could move south, okay? Mark, this could definitely move a little bit more south. There's a little bit of wiggle room. It is always a little bit harder to see where your swath of snow. But we've seen this in years past, back in January and February, where we see that cold air. And on the European will bring a swath of at least 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches. This is a little bit for the New England area here. And then another shot of cold air. And some more snow showers. A little nor'easter tries to develop again. But the pattern continues through December 12th, you guys. The pattern doesn't look too much different. You keep getting these higher up latitude Alberta clippers, Canada clippers, and then this is the jet stream here. You're continuing with your polar vortex, kind of continue to bring the colder air. This is why we are saying there is a chance for of extreme cold, and I think record-breaking cold temperatures in spots if this continues throughout December. And then look at that. December 12th, we get another clipper system from this active pattern. Shoots off in the same regions again. This is the third one. Take this with a grain of salt. It's 10 days out now we're getting to. But it definitely, the chances are there. This one's a little bit more southern. Maybe a brief little bit, into Chicago. This could definitely move more south. But there's going to be an active pattern, I do think, of Alberta clippers and some good snow swath. This one will bring at least 1 to 3, 2 to 4 inches, through your nighttime hours into the morning, and continuous cold. And it really doesn't brighten up. Maybe warms a little bit back in the west, but the Northeast just continues with these cold temperatures in the day and night. And then we see another little bit of a low that kind of moves. This will be a little bit weird. I think this will definitely change around the 16th. You got another shot of snow across the Great Lakes and Northeast. This would definitely be different. We're getting into more of the fantasy land. But the pattern stays. Not crazy snowstorms, but very cold in December. And some good snow potential in shots. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your opinion on the latest hero? Before I go into the temperatures.
Okay, so on the temperatures or just the...
with the snow potential and the shots. Kind of explain your opinion on it.
Okay, so what I would say, is around that December, so around the December 6th time frame, I'm keeping an eye on this clipper that the Euro is really hinting at trying to put out across the Dakotas, across Minnesota, Iowa, those areas. I'm keeping an eye on that because if that clipper is stronger and it's in a cold air mass, because like if you go to the Euro's actual temperatures on the day, your temperatures are in the 30s in northern Iowa, but you go where the heaviest swaths of snow and the clippers are, it's actually in the teens and the single digits. So, I mean, it's going to come down to how much cold air screams down in this part of the area. So. I would say the December 6th through the 10th time frame is what we're going to have to keep an eye on these clippers because these clippers could drop it if it's cold enough, and it will be cold enough. It will also put down more snow than what the models are showing. It may be showing, a large, like a swath of 3 to 5 inches, but it's actually going to put up, 3 to 6, maybe even as high as 7 inches if it wanted to. So it's going to come down because I was just looking at the radar just now for this snowstorm that's ongoing, and it's actually overperforming right now in the Panhandle of Texas and northern Oklahoma, in the Panhandle of Oklahoma. And we've been talking about this for a long time that the models would actually underdo the totals right now. I don't know how much snow is falling in Amarillo, but I'm guarantee you right now we probably got a swath of 3 inches in Amarillo right now because of this snowstorm that's coming for the Mid-Atlantic. So I guarantee y'all that this snowstorm that's going on, that's the moisture that's coming up from the Gulf later on tomorrow and stuff, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that because if it taps into that colder air in Arkansas and the Mid-Atlantic for tomorrow, we could be dealing with the large swath of 2 to 5 inches in isolated areas or maybe in scattered areas. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. But back to the Clipper systems. So I just wanted to pin that out, Weather Kingdom, for that
Thank you.
one's going snowstorm right now because it's overperforming as I'm looking at it.
All right, I'll let you share your screen soon. I want to get done the main things, and then I'll let you share your screen and share what you want to talk about a little bit.
Okay.
We've already been live for 31 minutes. I'm probably going to stay live for another 20 minutes. I don't want to stay on too long. I do have a test tomorrow. I kind of want to give you guys a little bit of an update and everything. But look at the European, you guys. We're going to start it now. And look at this. You already see another shot of cold air from Canada. And I want you guys to just watch this. Okay, look at what happens in the next coming days here. This just blasts right into the Great Lakes. This blasts right through Canada. And this, we're talking about negative 10 degrees. Waking up on the 4th here, and your daytime highs not even getting out of the single digits. In some spots, you don't even get out of out of zero. All right, and this goes right into the Great Lakes. Chicago could even see near negative temperatures. You see -1 right near Chicago. This is, thank you everybody for saying that. I appreciate that. I'm glad the stream is going good. Enjoy. Please like, please share. It'll mean a lot, everybody. But look, you get that shot of cold air through December 4th, and then the Northeast throughout December 5th. I mean, look at your time. I mean, temperatures throughout the day, getting into the 20s, teens, even across Chicago, and then we continue to reload. And look at that. We rebound a little bit, but then boom, we get another shot of cold air through December 6th. And look at this one. You're talking about near -15. I mean, that is impressive cold on the European. That is something that I have not seen in a while in December. Look at all of this cold just unloading for December 7th. That polar vortex. Nice.
Yes, it's going to be, yeah. I think it'd be colder down there, Mark.
And then look at that.
Chicago has a chance to run to sub-zero temperatures tonight.
Yeah, and then look at this, you guys. Yeah, thank you for that. Look at this. It just continues to load. And then the Northeast, you're talking about nighttime temps near zero. In some spots, near negative temperatures on December night. Extreme cold in the next 10 days, you guys. for the Northeast and Northern U.S. And then, we're starting to get to Fantasyland. But look at that. Continues. Your daytime high is just cold. Your night times, up in New England, 0-degree nights. Not just one, but multiple days. And even going into December 18th, you get another shot. You just get shot after shot of cold air. And it is just looking extremely bad for cold. And you're not even counting into the wind chills. Look how just cold. It just keeps on persisting. Extreme cold, you guys. And when we take a look at the 12Z snowfall across the entire U.S., look at that. Don't even look into Canada. I don't think you guys would even want to look at that. Look at some of these totals here. Back out in the Canada, Alaska mountains, out in the west, you're talking about over 100 inches of snow. That's how much of a system is going to be impacted. It's going to be like the Ice Age. Yes, this is a very good pattern. Thank you, Benjamin. Very greatly appreciate that. But look at that. Even into the Northeast, take this with a grain of salt, but through your Great Lakes regions, you can get almost up to 3 to 4 feet of snow across your Great Lakes here. Even into the Northeast, into even New York, 1 to 2 inches. New England, you continue. You can just see the pattern here. And if we go, and that's 12Z. If we go to 0Z from last night, it still shows.
You mean the Northwest? You said the Northeast. You're in the Pacific Northwest, rather than Canada.
I changed it up. It's a little delayed on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
But look at that. Even the 0Z shows a lot of snow. We can go back in the 12Z yesterday. Still showed snow, you guys. It's been showing extreme cold. And I do believe that's going to be the talk about in the next coming few weeks. That's your Euro. Okay? That's a very good model. Bring on the snow. Yeah, I agree. I'm a snowboarder lover. When we take a look at the Canadian is crazy. The Canadian just shows the kind of an Ice Age type week. Where, you don't even want to see it with the temperatures. Look at that. December 4th, we get that cold air. And then look, you get into the negative 20s. I'm not rolling this out here throughout tomorrow. That is cold temperatures with the Canadian, and boom, the Northeast gets slammed. This just continues to load and. You're talking about, out in the west, and, the upper plains here, in the negatives, waking up. Negative 15 to negative 30 degrees is possible. I'm not rolling it out, and then this continues to go into the Northeast. Your night times are going to be extremely cold. Even for Chicago, your Great Lakes, it is going to be blustery. It's going to be snow chances, and it's going to be cold. And, you don't even want to look at the Canadian. Look at what it's showing for the December 9th. Look at what is about to happen here. I'm not promising this here. Take this with a grain of salt. But I want you guys to just watch this right here. I want you guys to just look at that into the future. Just get ready. Look how that just slams into December 11th, into the upper plains here. Negative 30 degrees. That is extreme cold. And then look at this. It continues to worsen. And then look at the end, you guys. That going into the 13th. I hope this doesn't happen. I'm a snowboarder lover. But I think for snowboarding is a little too cold. You're talking about near 0 degrees waking up. But you know what's really interesting? Look at up here. What is going on? That's how cold it is. I'm going to show you guys what the Canadian's kind of showing. It is very impressive when you look at the North America. Look at that. You can tell the polar vortex comes into the USA. Look at that. You get this break in the Arctic with warmer temperatures. That's because the Canadian wants to... Let me quickly fix this a little bit. Look, you get a high right here. that actually pummels. I mean, look at this. Look, you got Siberia back into Greenland area, all the way back into Canada. You get this stream of extreme cold air into the United States. The polar vortex pretty much just comes in the United States on the Canadian. Is this going to happen? I'm not promising this. I think this is a bit extreme for December 13th. We do have a few days to look out into that. But there is one thing for sure, you guys. It is going to be an extreme cold December. And I'm really wondering now, January. I mean, there's already some signal that it's just brutal. You don't even want to know. Let's go month by month. But let's look at the Canadian. It shows your system, your southern slider, and then boom. You get your first clipper system. You get another chance of a southern slider. Canadian likes a little bit of snow down there. We'll have to continue to watch that. But look at that. You get this stream of moisture back out in the upper west here. And this is just going to be unloading Alberta clippers and loads right through here, you guys. Just watch what the Canadian does. Take this with a grain of salt. But it just unloads clipper system through the Great Lakes, and then another one through the Dakotas, another one through the Great Lakes. We do it again in the Northeast, another shot of polar air, and then we do it again. This one's a little bit more southern. This goes into a little bit more of a snowstorm. Just brings even more colder air. It just keeps on reinforcing and reinforcing very cold air. I mean, look at December 13th. This is just crazy. What is your opinion on the Canadian and what we have looked at with the temperatures?
Yeah, so the Canadian's a little interesting to me. I wonder if it's tapping into the stratospheric warming that we're going to get again here in a few weeks, here in like a couple of days, because we are going to modify some. But looking at the Canadian model, I mean, guys, this is a very, very rare pattern in December that you're going to get this year. We've not had a December like this in a long time. I just go back to like 2011, 2012. We had one in 2017, and so also they had a December like this. But since we're in a La Nina and a neutral and heading into neutral winter, it's gonna mess up the atmosphere a little bit. So you're gonna come into an area where you're part of the country where it's not gonna be where it's not gonna be as cold as hasn't been in winters. In December winters, but this year is a lot different because we've had a rare early atmospheric warming, stratospheric warming into the United States. And it's pouring all that cold air down south. Now, no, this is the Canadian model, and the Canadian model and the Euro has been really good at the winters so far this year. And let me say this: behind the scenes, I'm looking at this Canadian model, and I can't rule out the Canadian model being right with the Kingdom because of the amount of cold air they're just trying to tap into. So, I mean, I can't rule out a southern snowstorm around the 12th time frame,
Yeah, the GFS is coming out, and it just looks cold. I mean, it keeps trending colder and colder, and I think that's going to be the theme, you guys. Snow chances on the rise. That first clipper is a little bit weaker. It's more in the snow showers and another lake effect. But that second clipper strengthening pretty good here, and I think that's going to kind of slam through I think that's going to be a good one in the future. But, this is just cold. Keep me away from this. I like the snow, but pretty crazy. But look at them. Let me show you guys the temperatures here. On here, where are you? Nope. Where are you?
Surface.
Where's the surface? I don't see that.
Down below the 925 millivolts.
Oh, I'm on the GEFS.
Yeah. Oh, I guess. I don't know.
Nah. Okay.
Oh, I think it only does 850. Oh, go to the. Oh, I don't know where you. Oh, go to the 900
my
millivolts.
goodness.
Holy cow. Wow.
Okay, this is another potential into January. Okay, look at this. This is, I don't know, this is the CFS, but version 2. Are they both the same from Pivotal Weather and that, or no?
No, they're not. They're two different model guidance.
Look at this
That's
model
like,
guidance, you guys. Take this with a grain of salt. We get that polar air, and we just continue. But don't even look at that. It does a Canadian thing here, going out into the 15, and then we get a little system. But look at this cold air. What is this? The polar vortex just decides to stay high. And look how it just keeps reloading weeks after weeks. It does get a little bit here. January thaw, maybe. But look at that. Boom, towards the end. Please don't tell me that's reality. Look at that cold air going into January, just continuing. That is impressive. That is some impressive model right there with the temperatures. The pattern, look at that. Looks like we're going to have a lot of structure warming event, you guys. Summer, New York. Nice. That's just crazy. I'm kind of waiting on the GFS a little bit. GFS looks just cold. Whew. I'm waiting on the preset. Oh, this is 18Z. Why am I looking at that? Look at that. Boom. Snow. Alright. I want to see what we can do here. I'm not going to stay on too much longer. I really do need to head out very shortly. I know you had some things you wanted to talk about.
yeah.
I wonder if we should do that tomorrow. What do you want to do?
I mean, do you want me to go over the Matt and Julian oscillation real quick, and then we can head off?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Stratospheric warning, and then other, yeah. And then I want to get, and then I'm not going to talk long, but let me see.
Let me know when you can share your screen.
Okay. Sharing the screen.
Alright, give me a second. Let me get it ready. One second. Alright, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so guys, this is the GEFS model of the Madden-Julian oscillation. So right now we are on the third. We are in phase 8 right now. We were heading in late November. We were in phase 7. Now we're in phase 8, and then you see as we head to the 4th, the 5th, and there's the 6th and 7th. We stay into phase 8 all the way through the 9th and 10th. So this is where I want y'all to focus right here. Let me draw this out. So this is where I want y'all to focus on right here. Okay. Don't focus on these other ones right here. Okay. I want y'all to focus right here. We're on this red line right here. This red line follows right here down to the 5th, the 3rd right now. So we're in between this 2 right here. We're in between here right now. Okay. Then there's the 5th, 6th, 7th, and then there's the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. We stay in phase 8. It tries to go back into phase 7 a little bit. The GEFS does. But do I count that out? I think we stay in phase 8 through the month of December. So, you know, we're going to have to keep an eye on the Madden-Julian oscillation. Now, I also want to go over what is the Madden-Julian oscillation explained. Okay. Okay. So, you know, I'm not going to read all the factors in here, but you've got a stormy and wet pattern, right? You've got a pattern that supports really cold air, okay? And that cold air is trying to go up to an upward motion here. So you've got above 200 millibars. It's really cold, and it's still really cold up in like above 1,500 feet in the atmosphere. But down at 850 millibars, you've got the equator right here. You've got sunny and dry weather. What the dry weather in Africa and all those coming off the coast. So all this, well, let me draw this out. I think it's confusing. Okay, so you've got upward motion here. Is it lagging? Okay. Okay, so it's upward motion here, okay? And you got upward motion there. You've also got eastward movement here, so all the movements from from that area is going over there. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. So the Madden Julie oscillation is just like warm air. You got the warmer Pacific waters. You got the colder Southern Pacific waters, and if those two collide, which they have been in the past, and then you've got the Alaskan Ridge that sets up during this time frame, that really sets us up to go into phase 8. And when that map that I showed you earlier, where we were heading into phase 8, that's also showing us like, hey, we're going to get cold again, and we are going to get cold again. I mean, we're already cold, and this is going to, we may have a little bit of a thaw next week, but that's not going to last long. It's not going to be a big warm up. We're not going to get into the 80s or 60s or 70s across the Midwest like it's been. We're not going to get into that. We're staying in phase 8. You're going to have your low pressures that come through, your clippers that come through. And once we head into early December, we try next week. You see, next week we're going back into phase 7, and boom, we're back into phase 8 again. So we're going to keep an eye on this. Okay, these things that happen, this is just one model run. This is just one model showing we're in phase 8. So
can you show the S?
What?
Can you quickly go back?
Okay.
Yeah. Can you go back to the S? Go to NSPE. No.
No.
Right there.
Right here?
Yeah, go to the other model. Show the European and that one. Oh, that's the main one. Okay, look at the European.
Okay, yeah. So here's the Europe. Okay, there you go. Cool. I was confused for a second. All right, so the European model is a lot different, though. I have not seen this. And this is the European model. So the European model shows it's still in phase 8 throughout December. I mean, guys,
it's snowier and colder with the European.
Yeah, so we're in phase 8 for a while. So
go the Istanbuls, yeah.
There's that one right there. That one showed this model is a little bit different, but it shows us going into phase phase 0, phase 2, phase 8, phase 1. So we go to phase 1, guys. Get ready. We're gonna get an Arctic outbreak like that. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. This one really shows us going into phase 8, still into phase 1 and 2. This one shows this right here, phase 1 and 2 as well, and 8. So these models have different outcomes, but they do agree that we're gonna be into phase 8 for a while. So just get ready for this cold, guys. Late December, near the Christmas time frame. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
Because the South could have a run for a white Christmas this year. Do I know that for sure? No. But the atmosphere that's going to be coming, that's likely in place right now, is giving a hint for what Christmas is going to be like. So that's all I got right there. And then we'll go over the rest of what I wanted to go over tomorrow. We're going to keep an eye on that. I want to give a couple more model data before I go over the long range data with y'all into January and late December. So y'all stay tuned for that as I look at that later tonight into tomorrow. So we'll let it get back to you.
All right, thank you for that. If you really want, go ahead. You could show your European model.
Okay.
Or whatever. You add something up. Or
okay. So here's the European extended. This is one of the models. This is out to December 9th, which is the week of December 9th, which is next week. It shows a colder pattern, but you can see how we thaw out a little bit here. This is December 15th. We start to thaw out a little bit. But then watch the European weekly start to get cold again Well, a little bit cold. This one is just the newest model run, so we got one previous run model ago. You see, it's a little thawing out us a little bit, but I want to go out to the CFS global model. This is the one we're gonna have to keep an eye on because look what it does. It thaws us out and then look at that drop as we had. Here's December 25th, which is Christmas. Do I think we're gonna have warm air on Christmas? There might be some areas there, but look as we head to late December into like Christmas Eve. Not Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve into the start of January, and then we stay cold. And look at the flip as we had January 16th. So this is a time and pattern where we're going to have a big cold front come through, and then we're going to thaw out, and then we get a cold front, and then we're going to have one big cold front, and and then we get cold and we're stay cold. So we're going to keep an eye on that, and yeah, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the pattern, and then I also want to one more, and this is all I'm going to show right here for tonight. We've got this is a snowstorm that's coming tomorrow, but you've got this area of snow that's already in Panhandle, Texas, and showing radar. And what you can see here is you've got a narrow band of heavy snowfall in Panhandle, Texas, into Oklahoma. So this is what I was telling Weather Kingdom earlier, that this storm system that's up into Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle is going to be moving to the east here, and it's already overperforming. There's already 1 to 2 inches of snowfall in Amarillo right now, as I was looking behind the scenes. So, this storm system is already colder than expected right now. So y'all just keep an eye on the Mid-Atlantic. I would say Arkansas all the way up into the Mid-Atlantic, like central Arkansas up into the Mid-Atlantic. Please keep an eye on the storm system that's coming tomorrow, because right now this is overperforming right now already. And if this is telling you how bad, not how bad the models have been, but how sucky the model has been, the short range model guidance at least has been when the storm system gets closer to coming in. And I'm not going to bash like the European model, but it's done horrible the last few days on its short range guidance way. But what I can tell you is that the European has been right most of the time this year, so I'll give credit to the European model there. So yeah, all right, that's all I got.
Thank you for that. If you do want to look at I saw you had the European APHIS out. If you want to show that, I was very interested in that in your first slide. Right there with the precipitation, or
okay, right here
on synoptic weather, whatever. Yeah, what was that about?
So, wait, this no.
Go to the first one.
Oh, this one?
Oh. Yes, that one.
Okay, so this is the AI. This is the European AI model, and this is detecting where we could have a couple of snowstorms. So you can see this is December 14th time frame. You can see the Pacific Northwest could see a little bit of snow here, the lower elevation snowfall up here. We could have, a lot of snow. Look at these isobars here. You see these isobars here that are tightly together. That's indicating some really cold air, not just cold air, but heavy, strong winds and very cold air. So you can see the pattern that we're heading into, and then look at that. So could this, the AI does this things where it has this 18Z now, where it shows warm air and then it goes back down to cold air. So these are model runs. These are not like real-time data yet, but we have an idea. We have an idea of what's going to be like as we head into mid-December. And I really think if I were to pick an area where we're going to have to keep an eye on for the heavy snowfall potential, will probably be this area right through here.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
We're going to have to keep an eye on this area here for mid-December, okay? Not just because of the clipper systems that are coming through now, but some big snowstorms in the next few weeks. I really think that if we get a really heavy snowstorm, it'll be right up into here, in this red circle here. I think this would be one of the bigger areas of snowfall potential that we're going to get in the next few weeks. in this red circle, we're going to have to keep an eye on this, narrow band, this narrow area here that we're going to see heavy snowfall. So just stay tuned to the channel, guys. We're going to keep an eye on this, and if we see hints at this continuing, then we'll totally do an emergency live update, and we'll get y'all up to that. But right now, this black circle is the most likely area for more snowstorms, and this red circle is our best area of concern for more snowstorms to come into this area and dump. I'm not gonna say how many inches I think it's gonna dump, but it could be a lot. So y'all just, if you're in the Chicago area, if you're in Omaha, pure South Dakota, Minneapolis, all the way up to New York City and Philadelphia, and just north of Washington, D.C., y'all got to keep an eye on the forecast the next few weeks. So I would really keep an eye on that. So just stay tuned up to updates from the National Weather Service in our channel here. And we'll keep y'all updated. And so just stay tuned. It's going to be the coldest December in records that I've seen. So yeah.
All right, thank you for that. I think that was a great segment by you. We do have the new Euro coming out. Once again, just looking cold. The latest GFS. I'm doing the last little update throughout its runs. Yep, you see a lot of snow and a lot of clipper systems. The GFS is a little bit, what's the word? About the same. Continue with that cold air, but look at that southern area. You get that cold air, and then you get that little bit of moisture. It tries to show a nor'easter. I think there's a possible chance, you guys. But look at the latest 0Z. It's a lot colder. Instead of that December fall, you're seeing a lot more colder air, and I think that's going to be the outcome, you guys. I think we're just going to keep on reloading and reloading and reloading. I mean, look at this. We get a little bit of a snow event like he just pictured here. I think that's a possibility. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. We could get a slider that moves with the precip, and if we get that negative tilted trough, we could talk about a nor'easter. I wouldn't be surprised. Anything can happen in this. And look at that. The cold just continues to load and load and load and load. And then when we take a look at the temperatures, for example, a lot colder than last run, you guys. And a lot of wind and cold. Alright? That's about it that I have for you guys. Okay? Yeah. I think that we've been streaming for about an hour. I think it was a good stream. Hey, hello Mia. How are you? Hi. Thank you for all your guys' support. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe, share this with other people. Keep this going because we are probably going to go live tomorrow. I'm going to try and keep it going. I know I say I'm tired and stuff, but I really want to keep you guys informed and weather aware because, latest GFS, it does a little bit something just like we were saying in the south here. Just a little sneaky. I think we're going to have a sneaky snowstorm sometime in the mid-December here. The GFS does a little bit of sneaky system down here in the southern regions. The chances are there, you guys, for cold and I mean, look, when I mean nor'easter, take this with a grain of salt, but let's go into, I want to look into something, not that, what is it, this, no, the heights, no, 500, yeah, look at that, you see how things get, we're going to have to keep an eye on this, because, wait, is that it? Let me just make sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, look, we get the pattern here. We get a little bit of a negative. I mean, we're going to continue with that cold air, but look, if we really want, we have our axis of cold air right here. If this can kind of timed up a little bit and kind of be like this or something, the deeper this gets, okay? And if this goes negative tilt in the next couple runs, you're going to have a bomb cyclone pretty much off the East Coast here. The chances are there for anything to go its way. Is it going to happen? I'm not. It's possible. But look at that. It continues to load. I mean, look out in the west, too. You just continue with your atmosphere, but you keep continuing with this low up in Canada that just keeps on spinning and looping and just keep on reloading on that cold temperatures. And look at that. That is much colder than the last couple runs. I knew this was going to happen, you guys. The Canadian, I think, is on to something. Oh, God, Canadian. Already showing that, oh, Canadians deciding to go colder. All right, I see how it is. But very cold air, and look at this, for example, around the 8th. I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but you get a little bit of a low pressure down here. You got your trough right in here, you guys. Or actually, let's redraw that. It's a little bit better than that. It goes into here, I mean. Wait. Your trough goes in here. Alright. You got your low pressure up in here. If this can delay itself like GFS and, you know, be a little bit more aligned with the trough and the trough gets stronger, you could definitely get a snowstorm out of this. And you can just see it. It's that type of pattern that it can happen. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Alright.
We'll see.
We will have to wait and see, but the chances continue. And look at that big west cold. Looks like another system's reloading. Take that with a grain of salt, because that would be a snowstorm of the century right there. Oh, mountain snow really loads up there. But you guys, remember, this is still a little bit out. This 210 hours though. Take this with a grain of salt, but I think this is going to be the December for snow chances at your best. All right, I'm going to head out. I think that's about it. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. I'm going to close